Kitti, Kitti Rose.
So when my friend or person of interest decided to leave, I was very heartbroken. And as I mentioned in the first part, I decided that I wanted to change things for me, right? And I know, okay, for those of you watching, I know people are like, wow, that sounds like pissed off revenge and angsty and whatever it is. And it sounded like that came out of anger. And I will be honest, it did, right? It did. I'm not perfect, I'm not. But I will say this, it was, I think, for the better. I legit was posting things online constantly. You can only imagine how much hurt I was. This was someone who I spent a lot of time with as like a really great friend. And I still think that they're a really great person for over like many, many years. And it just to find out that things were not the way they were. I had just come out of, we'll get into that in my relationship. There's a lot of context behind this, but it'll all make sense hopefully one day. But let's just say that I am married, with my wife, my family, a lot of things. And, it was just so much, and I decided to take a stance to making change. I was just posting things online, extremely mad. It didn't name him or whatever. I was just going over it. It wasn't just mad. It was just a lot of heartbreak, right? And it was a lot of trying to get over this person. And the only way that I could get over it was to just go out to these parties. And at first, the parties were going a lot with a lot of my straight friends. And my straight friends were like, we can't just be going to these parties with you every time. You need to find your crew, your crowd or whatsoever. And so that's when I really tried to start to make a change of that, right? There had to be a purpose to why I went to these things. But I know that one thing that I enjoyed the most going to these parties, was actually seeing the drag queens. I don't know, there was just something so magical about it. I just remember seeing people like Kitti Rose and Sapphire Blast and House of Hot Mess and a lot of these other queens. I think even Miss Vanda Joaquim was performing, and a lot of them. Tiara Sorrell, oh my gosh, Mia Rita, Viola Virus, a lot of these great, amazing queens, right? Very talented. And Kaknina Boo, oh my gosh, she was such an inspiration. I was like, wow, these people love music. And I love the fact that they put music together and pieced it together and turned it into a performance and told a story. It was so amazing. It was just, for me, that was one of the main reasons. So that's why I decided to record those videos. And I was just like, that's so cool. And I started posting them. And then next thing you know, some of these queens actually texted me and DM'd me. And they were like, oh, do you have the video? Can you send it to me? And I did. And then that just kind of became a thing, because then I realized, oh, people don't really record their full performances. I should start doing that. I mean, it's helpful for them, and maybe try to get to know them as people, because I want to understand where it's coming from and their stories are coming from. And I would direct message them here and there just to say, and I'll be honest, there was no agenda. I didn't even know I was going to be a drag queen back there. I just said it was so cool, it was so fun. I really thought that their performances were just so inspiring. You look at someone like Sapphire Blast, the costumes, the outfits, the choreography, voguing and everything. I was just like, what is this? Oh my gosh. I was like, this is so cool and so amazing. And the crowd just went nuts for them. And that's how I started getting connected to people, right? I put myself out there because I wanted to make a change. I didn't want to be that guy anymore who just sat at home and just was so depressed because I was bipolar with depression. And I just didn't want to just be relying on a group of friends anymore, right? And I wanted to show the person that I lost here that I was going to change everything, my course of life, of doing things. right? And I'm just gonna show that my life is gonna change, right? And that's how it really took a lot in me in terms of being an introvert, especially during depression, to actually, start going up to people and saying hi. Sometimes it was so awkward. Some people are like, "Who are you?" And I mean, like, people could be rude sometimes because, come on, this dude comes alone to a party or a group of friends that starts talking. I would be scared too, actually. But I mean, a lot of people were very friendly, right? A lot of people were very nice. A lot of people were great, right? And I started showing up to these parties more and more, more and more. And it wasn't just Baby Boy anymore. I think it was Catch Us Move. I think there was like maybe Love Machine. There were a lot of parties that were just happening, and a lot more bars and clubs were starting to open up. And I started showing up, started recording videos, started tagging the queens, started posting on social media more about my party scene. And to be honest, me posting that much was not meant for saying like, oh my god, I'm so popular, or social club. It wasn't any of that. It was actually for a guy. I was just trying to show that, hey, I have made my life out of myself, and hey, I'm doing fine, and I'm going to turn things around. And that's what it was for. But it became something bigger, right? And it became something bigger, and to my only realization that it didn't change anything.
Kitti, Kitti Rose.